Hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Teena Jha. You're watching Perspective. The Digital India Initiative has successfully completed 9 years. Launched on the 1st of July 2015 with a vision to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy, the flagship program of the Modi government has today turned into a mass movement, touching the lives of a majority of Indians. Lauding its nearly a decade-long journey, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, Digital India symbolizes an empowered India which boasts ease of living and transparency. Through various initiatives, the umbrella Digital India program has had a huge transformative impact, connecting millions of people, simplifying transactions, and making government services more accessible. We'll talk about this power that has empowered India today, driving remarkable growth and innovation in the country. Two distinguished guests join us on the show today. I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Abhishek Singh, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. He's also the MD and CEO of Digital India Corporation and the CEO of Karma Yogi Bharat. Mr. Singh, welcome to Sansad TV. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm also pleased to welcome Mr. Sanjeev Narayan, Member, Electronics Committee, CII. Mr. Narayan, glad to have you with us on this edition of Perspective. Mr. Singh, allow me to begin the program today with you. 9 years of the Digital India program, and during this period, you've served in multiple posts, in multiple roles as well, in implementing, in driving forward the transformation, the digital transformation that we are seeing today and that we are discussing on the program today as well. As someone who's been at the forefront in implementing the objectives of the Digital India program, if I may ask you, what has been the biggest success story of the Digital India program in the 9 years that it has been in effect?
See, we all are aware of how Digital India has transformed various sectors, various segments of society. But if we have to really evaluate with regard to how the Digital India has impacted the lives of common Indians, common citizens, I would say that the widespread adoption of most of the Digital India products and solutions, especially with regard to, say, for example, the identity solutions. Right. Not only we have 1.34 billion Aadhaar numbers which have been given to citizens, to Indians across the country, but the more important fact is that every day more than 70 million Aadhaar authentications happen. Like people verify their Aadhaar numbers through various means every day. This means that Aadhaar has not only been given as an identity card or an identity number, but people are using it for various purposes, whether it's for getting ration cards from a One Nation, One Ration Card scheme, wherein a family can get a ration card wherever they are living. The head of the family can get in if he's a migrant in Bombay or Punjab, he can get in there. The rest of the family can get in wherever the family is living. Or the people doing Digi Yatra authentications, or people using it for banking transactions, for direct benefit transfers. So that's one of the examples that has really impacted. The second example that I would like to give is the impact that financial digital payments has made today. We have more than 12 lakh crore transactions every month that's happening on UPI payments. We have more than 48% of the global digital payments happens in India. So that way we have become the leader in digital payments, and whether it's a small payment or a large amount, some funds get transferred immediately, and there's a huge impact on the digital economy. And if you look at other projects like Digi Locker, which ensures a paperless kind of governance, the ease with which one can access the airports through an application like Digi Yatra where people are using it, or if we look at applications of Digital India which have been impacting agriculture, for example, the e-Naam where farmers can get prices of various commodities in the markets, or advisories with regard to what crops they should sow or how much, what fertilizers they should use. Or in the field of healthcare, if we look at the e-Sanjeevani platform where more than 400,000 people access the platform for teleconsultations every day, or the CoWIN platform with which almost more than 2 billion vaccine doses were given to all Indians. Or if you look at the education platform Diksha, where millions of students access online courses. So almost every segment of the society has been greatly impacted by digital technologies. And this would, I say, when most common people adopt it and have trust in the system, that's the true value of Digital India across the nation.
Okay, so various digital initiatives under the larger Digital India umbrella that have brought about remarkable transformation in different sectors. Mr. Narayan, from an industry perspective, What for you has been the biggest transformation that the Digital India program has brought about, and something that has propelled India on the path to growth?
I think the biggest transformation that has taken place because of the Digital India and the Make in India program. I think these two programs have to be looked at together. And what has happened is that today, with the manufacturing that has taken place now in India, India is being seen as a very different perspective by whether it is the buyers, whether it is the customers, whether it is the supply base. All of these people are looking at India in a very different perspective. And I think that has been the biggest impact of the progress that we have made. And all this has happened because we've been able to bring about a mindset change, a DNA change, if I would say so, because we have now in India got manufacturing going, and manufacturing has come center stage with respect to the Government of India policy now. And this being center stage has resulted in the big growth that has been there, and we have shown to the world that we can produce in high volumes, which has been shown by the mobile sector. We are now ready to expand these sectors. And the government, the best thing is that our government is very proactive. And we're already engaged with the government to see how we can add other sectors in this and how we can do further backward integration. This is, I would say that the government currently, in the last 5-10 years, there's really a dramatic change in the way we were and where we are. From an importer-led base, we are today now talking about a manufacturing nation. And that is the biggest change that has taken place.
You're right, and that leads me to the next question, Mr. Singh, because you've been at the helm of governance and in implementing a major success lies in implementation. That's what it's believed to be so. So the fact that technology has always been there. We adapt to change when we put technology to the best of use. But despite adversities, and this 9-year period has also seen us facing adversities like the COVID pandemic, and which was extremely challenging for the entire world, where it was difficult to ensure that communication, the normal communication was also affected, to ensure that you also vaccinate over 1 billion people in record time. If you could take us back to the time when you faced these challenges and how you navigated well, that today it's become a success story.
So like COVID-19 and India's response to it, whether it was like containing the virus and limiting the impact, building applications like Arogya Setu to ensure that people are warned with regard to the imminent danger that may come to, or if they are exposed to anyone who is tested positive, by doing contact tracing, or building or making vaccines in India, for entire world, or building a tech platform for mitigating for ensuring that we are able to vaccinate 1 billion plus people, ensure that people are given vaccine doses in time. That has been a clear way of showing how technology can really help solve such serious problems which the whole world was facing. Talking specifically of COVID-19 vaccination, when the vaccine was developed, when our developers, whether it was Bharat Biotech, when they came up with Covaxin, or whether Covishield was done by Serum Institute, immediately the immediate next target was that how do we ensure that people are able to book appointments and people are able to get vaccinated. And the complex problem was that never before in the history of our vaccination program, we had to vaccinate the entire population. Vaccinating 1 billion plus people, there was no precedent. We have been doing polio vaccination and other vaccinations, but that is limited to a small segment of the population. So vaccinating this, and then the other challenge that we had was that there were 2 vaccines. One was Covishield, one was Covaxin. Later, some other vaccines were added, but initially there were 2 vaccines. And the other complexity was that for the one vaccine, you needed the second dose after 28 days, and for the other one, you needed the second dose after 84 days. In a country of our size and magnitude, for people to remember which vaccine they took, when they took, and where they will take the next dose, it was a huge challenge. So what we felt was that let's design a system in which people can get vaccinated anywhere, and make it very simple, wherein any identity document can be used to verify them. It can be their driving license, it can be their Aadhaar, it can be their voter card, it can be their PAN card. Any identity document can be used to verify them. Then we also felt that when we design the system, we'll not build up a username password kind of system, because people may forget that. So we made a mobile OTP kind of system. Then we also knew the challenge that many people will not have a mobile phone, even though we have a very high mobile penetration, but still there will be children, there will be people who will not have a mobile phone. So we allowed one person to register 4 people, and we allowed them to get a digital vaccination certificate which followed the standards so that it can be digitally verified. So we were able to ensure that people could book a vaccination appointment anywhere near their place of residence, get themselves vaccinated, get the certificates within minutes of getting vaccinated, verify that they are vaccinated by integrating the APIs with other applications. So for example, a Zomato delivery boy or Amazon delivery boy is coming to give you an e-commerce delivery, then you could actually verify whether the person is vaccinated or not. So all these tech innovations were built in the COVID vaccination platform, which no other country had done. Later, with our Honorable Prime Minister's initiative, many other countries sought interest in doing this, and we shared our expertise, and some other countries adopted this kind of system. And still people say that even countries like United States and countries of the West, they were giving paper certificates which were not verifiable, but we were able to beat that kind of system. The other than vaccination in COVID-19, our response, the other big tech-enabled initiative was with regard to direct benefit transfers. With regard, when the lockdown was imposed and people were in need of funding support, and government was transferring COVID relief to the bank accounts of people, we could do that instantly because of the direct benefit transfer infrastructure that was laid down on top of the Jan Dhan bank accounts linked with Aadhaar. And again, even a country like United States was not able to track the COVID relief that they gave, but we were able to do that. We were able to transmit benefits immediately, instantly. That in fact ultimately led to our being able to manage the crisis in a much more efficient manner, and we were able to bounce back and come back to our 8+% growth very soon.
Mr. Narayan, the fact that India's digital public infrastructure, something that Mr. Singh spoke about, and which has helped us to adapt to technology, it's been an enabler through the last few years, and that's why it's seen the kind of transformation that we are talking about today. The India Stack, as the Indian public digital infrastructure is known more popularly, it's not just gotten the world talking about it, but it's inspired a lot of the countries to adapt to a similar system as well. How do you think, among all of this, it has highlighted India's leadership role, especially when it comes to fostering towards advancing international economic cooperation?
As I see it, the entire public infrastructure that has got created is basically, as you rightly said, is an enabling environment that has been created. And the biggest beneficiary of this as far as the industry is really in the manufacturing sector, where we are looking at the industry 4.0.
Right.
This is what we are talking about, where this brings in both integrates the hardware, software, which is the IoT, AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, and also the big data. And this integration of this is possible because of the digital infrastructure that has been created. And if you also see that similarly, with this infrastructure, the biggest beneficiary of this has been our eco startup system, which is really resulting in tremendous opportunities for our youth, and also helping in terms of bringing our technologies, R&D together. So this is one big area that we have all benefited from, and I think we need to leverage this further. And this success of this is what has raised the image of India globally. And today when we go travel abroad, or when we talk to people, I think there's a very different kind of respect that is looked at, India is looked at today. I still remember 50 years back when we would be traveling and going abroad. I mean, India was in a totally different cup. And today, thanks to the digital revolution and the success of the India story, I think we can hold our head high. And thanks to all the efforts that have been made by the government.
You're absolutely true. India's UPI, Mr. Singh, today has become a global front runner, if you talk about the digital payment system. But I remember there was a lot of skepticism when UPI was announced and digital payments in the country. It was said in a heterogenic society and in a hugely populated society like India, it's going to face tremendous challenges. But kudos to the Indian people with the manner in which they accepted, not just accepted UPI, but today it's become, sort of an envy for the other countries, the leading economies particularly. How would you see the UPI success story, and how did you address all of the questions, the apprehensions and the skepticism that came your way?
When UPI was launched way back in 2016, there were some people who felt that we will not be able to scale it up and it will be an urban phenomenon, it will not work in rural areas.
Yes.
But then it was not a one-off initiative. It was part of the larger Digital India initiative, which included ensuring not only building such platforms, but ensuring connectivity is made available across the country. Our 4G expansion was very fast. And today, when it comes to 5G, we are the world's largest, amongst the world's largest 5G installation countries in the world. In fact, number of 5G locations in India is more than the number of 5G locations in the United States and the Europe combined together. So the pace at which we have worked on ensuring connectivity has ensured that people living in any part of India do get very robust mobile internet connectivity. The second thing that has been done is that with policy measures of the government, the cost of accessing mobile internet is amongst the cheapest in the world. The cost of accessing 1 GB of data, if you compare, we are the world's cheapest across the world. Then we have 900 million, almost 900 million, 90 crore people who access internet, and most of them through mobile phones. So again, that makes people easy to use UPI kind of applications. But then government was also obvious of the fact that there are people who still use basic feature phones. Not everybody has a smartphone. So how do you enable UPI usage for those who have a feature phone? So UPI 123 was introduced. That also ensured that people even with smartphones can use UPI payments. Then the another measure that has been done is that we realize that not everybody is very tech savvy, in the sense that they can do entry on their phones by their hands and all, and they prefer voice to do transactions. So in UPI, voice-based UPI payments has also been introduced. It's been a constant push for improving the service, bringing in new features, ensuring that connectivity goes across India, which has led to UPI becoming a phenomenon as it has become today. And the best example, the best use case, I would say, is the trust that people have. Even vegetable vendors or chaatwalas, for even 10 rupee payments, 5 rupee payments, they use it. And when their UPI box says that 20 rupee prapt hue, they actually know that the money has come in their bank account.
Yes.
So the equivalent of keeping money in your pocket is equivalent of hearing that or seeing that tick mark on your phone. And I will just give you one small example with regard to the impact that is making. In fact, I remember on one of the street vendor, the guys who sell pani puris and chaat, I was there in that market, and then he was taking money by UPI only. So I asked him, how has it impacted him? And I was surprised by the answer that he gave. He said that earlier, when I used to serve pani puri to my customers, I will spend, say, 3 minutes to serve a customer, then I'll spend 2 to 3 minutes to take the cash and refund the change. Now with the UPI payment coming, people pay through UPI, they scan the QR code and the money gets paid. He hears that 20 rupees mil gaye, and then he keeps on serving his customers. So for him, that 2 to 3 minutes that was being spent in doing the financial cash transactions, that time is saved. So in a way, his business has expanded and his efficiency has gone up. So that is the kind of transformational thing which is told by even vegetable vendors and these chaatwalas. So if people at that level adopt it, they have trust in the system, that shows how robust the whole system is, how secure the whole system is. Of course, there are issues of a lot of UPI frauds and all. For that, cyber awareness and ensuring that people are made aware with regard to the do's and don'ts, when to share OTP, and also the messaging that I4C, the cyber dose handle on social media, does is that when you scan a QR code, you pay money. You don't get money by scanning QR codes. So some such messaging for people to stay safe while they are using digital payments also becomes very important. But by and large, people of India across the length and breadth, north, south, east, northeast, wherever you think of, people have adopted it and it's there to stay. And I think we will continue to expand the footprint of UPI, not only in India, but across the world. Yesterday, I was reading that France, after launching UPI payments at the Eiffel Tower, they have launched UPI payments at their biggest shopping mall, the Galleria Lafayette. Right. Their UPI payments have been introduced. Our ambassador was there. So in a way, UPI is being adopted globally. Even the Western countries are adopting it. And I feel that within a few years, it will become the gold standard for digital payments, not only in India, but across the world.
You know, I'm glad you spoke about the challenge that we also face in terms of the fraud. Mr. Narayan, I'll take that question to you. Whenever there is transformation and looking at the scale and scope of the transformation that we have seen in our country over the past few years, there are bound to be challenges. And particularly when Digital India program, it's a huge umbrella of various initiatives. There are bound to be challenges. 9 years, we've covered a significant journey. What are some of the other goals that you would still expect and where all stakeholders need to come together in the times to come to achieve the objective? There are two major objectives that the Prime Minister has outlined to propel India to become a $5 trillion economy and also the third largest economy in the world. And the larger objective being to take India to the status of a developed nation by 2047.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, before I specifically answer your question, I would just like to point out a few other things, which have helped greatly the manufacturing sector, which has opened up because of the government policies. Sure. The manufacturing sector, some of the biggest benefits that we have got is the government has opened up the entire defense sector to the private sector. It was unheard of. Then they've opened up the space sector, drones, and the kind of support that they're extending to the startups, it is phenomenal. Another big benefit that we have got from the systems that they have launched is the GEM, which is the e-marketplace. And I think the amount of small industries who have got access to the market is phenomenal. These are changes that will, be very far-reaching. And we really appreciate in industry, we really appreciate that the government has taken these things as far as the manufacturing sector is concerned. As far as your question is concerned as to what more needs to be done, there are still areas, and we have been talking about the example of mobile phones is only one. We need to expand that to other products and prove that, yes, that is already also will happen. And the best thing about our government at the moment is they have been proactively, and the PLI schemes on these sectors have also been launched and are in the work, and hopefully that we will also be able to prove that it's not just mobile manufacturing, but it is whether it is telecom, IT products, industrial electronics, security products, each one of them, we can do it in volume and there would be no problem. The other area is that we need to now focus on adding value additions to our manufacturing process is what needs focus, which means we need to add to component manufacturing. And that is a segment that we need to focus on. And the government and industry are actively engaged in this sector, and we hope a policy in this sector will be coming out soon.
Okay, let me take that question to Mr. Singh. As part of the governance, Mr. Singh, there are some unfulfilled goals to say in the Digital India program as well. 9 years, we've seen significant transformation wherein Digital India initiatives have acted as a catalyst for both socio-economic transformation in India. But can we say is the best yet to come?
No, I would not say best yet to come, but I would say there is always a scope for improving the services. And the way at which technology is evolving, the way at which technology is changing, and especially with artificial intelligence and generative AI coming in, right, there's a huge opportunity for us to make the user experience for users who are accessing the Digital India services better and more personalized. I will just give you an example. Like, for example, we always say that In India, 900 billion people are connected to the internet and they are like using online services. But we also have 500 billion people who are not connected. And very often what they would need is, apart from getting smartphones, they would also need services in their own languages. We are a diverse country, 22 official languages, lots of dialects. So people would need services and portals and applications in their own mother tongue, as also voice enabled services. So for example, if there is a farmer and he can get the price of say bajra in the local mandi by going to the eNam app or going to the eNam portal, but we know that many farmers would struggle to actually log into a portal or download an app or navigate a captcha. For them, it will be easier for them if they could just go to a smartphone and say that bajre ki कीमत आगरा मंडी में क्या है. अगर वो, if they are able to give that command with voice, and if they are able to get the answer by voice, that will be really transformational. So with the Bhashini project and with under the India AI mission, the whole goal is to build up India's capability in language technologies, as also build AI-based applications. So the next layer of digital public infrastructure, the next layer of India stack will be AI-enabled, and wherein people will be able to get customized services driven by voice. It should be possible for even a feature phone user to call a toll-free number and have a query that, for example, डायरिया बच्चे को हो रखा है, क्या करना चाहिए, और पौधे में धान के खेत में कीड़े लग रहे हैं, उसमें क्या करना. So this kind of queries can be given by voice in Marathi, in Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, Bengali, any language, and you can get the reply back on voice, and that would be the real power of technology powering and making the services of DPI better. So while we have done a lot in the past, but I would say the time is not there to be complacent and to rest on the laurels, but to use the AI-based technologies and Bhashini and natural language processing to make the services of Digital India more customized for the use of citizens and users. So that's the real challenge. That's the goal that we have in the days to come.
Okay, so last few years we would say we've seen digital revolution. The first edition of the digital revolution, which has simplified our lives and made ease of living, as the Prime Minister keeps saying, much more impactful in the country. In the next decade or so, there will be a digital revolution 2.0, wherein emerging technologies will cater to localized solutions. And as Mr. Singh rightly said, that is where the impact will be most visible. So we'll hope that these technologies will have the best impact on the Indians particularly. We are a large population, and there will be problems, localized problems, to which the solutions we will look towards technology to provide through the next phase of digital revolution. So that having been said, we'll have to wind up the program. Time allows me to take only that much on this edition of Perspective. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Singh and Mr. Narayan for joining us on the program today, sharing your thoughts and your views with our viewers. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well. I'll see you same time tomorrow now with another topic and a different set of panelists. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Keep watching Sansad TV.